My name is Cyanide. I'll be your host just for this week. After this week, we will have Sandman joining us and hosting it for us. We've got a few guests. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about throughout the next, hour, hopefully less than an hour. We don't want to be here all night. Otherwise, it'll feel like the Xbox One stream yesterday, which was equivalent to two Nvidia's teams going head-to-head for 4 hours just to take down the Titan. So we'll try and make it quick. We'll try and make it easy. We'll try and have a little bit of fun, of course, with that. So to get things started, I want to introduce everyone to tonight's panel guests. We want to change these around every week. We don't want to see Hughesy's face every week. We don't want to see Nightfall. Actually, Nightfall isn't here. There is no more Smite podcast. What happened to Nightfall? I think Nightfall was so bad. The truth is, all right, myself and Jyles always wanted to go on the podcast. Nightfall never let us. He always had an excuse. Well, he didn't even have an excuse. He just never answered us and let us on. So we thought, what the hell, let's do our own. Let's try and do something special. But let me introduce you to everyone. We do have the master at collusion here. We do have Hughes. Also a commentator for the OPL. I don't think we'll see him doing any challenge stuff. That's way, way, way below him. But he is here tonight. Good evening, Hughes. And apart from
Hey Steve, hey Cyanide.
We've also got Biggy. And as you guys know, last year Biggy was in Avant. He was somewhat in direwolves, you could say. But the sole reason he's here, of course, is because the man has got fantastic hair. No one does it better than Biggy. Unfortunately, he's got a beanie on tonight. I didn't want to say anything before we got on, but it's absolutely outstanding. And the last guy to join us tonight, of course, is our good friend Jyles. And Jyles makes all the admins mad, all right, for CG Smite, because he's the only one that gets any sort of income. So, everyone, please welcome our guest for tonight. How are we, gentlemen?
Yeah, not too bad.
Doing good.
Pretty good, rolling in that fat dollar, you know?
That's right. So, a few things to discuss. We've got a few topics, as you can see up there, guys. And before we get into this properly, what I want to do is down the bottom, you can see we got the hashtag Smite OPL. A little bit later on in the show, we've got a new little segment there called Lash Out. And the aim for that is, rather than everyone going off to Reddit, hiding behind some mysterious alias and everything else, the Lash Out is going to be a chance for everyone through the Smite Show to basically shit on everyone. So if you've got something you want to bring up, whether it's nice, not nice, anything like that, let us know about it. Let us know about it. We want to know. We'll do the same thing for you guys. So it's just a big chance for us to get everything off our chest. But first of all, here, ladies, gentlemen, children, and entitled players, the most important thing, I guess, is the OPL. We're halfway through, and what happened last week? Lots of good stuff, guys, happening last week. I'll just pull up the results. I'm sure you guys have got it. And, of course, Pandemonium, undefeated. Tainted Minds, undefeated. Trident Esports, Direwolves. But, do you know what? I'll just, before you go in there, Hughesy, I just want to let everyone know that we do like Direwolves here in OCE. We haven't put them bottom. That's important to know. So Trident have gone bottom for us, but if you go and have a look at the newly launched Smite Esports page, Hi-Res actually put Direwolves on the bottom. So we can confirm Hi-Res don't like Direwolves. So let's talk about...
That's actually because I can answer that, Steve. It's because I colluded with Trident and they paid me a lot of money to make sure they weren't on the bottom on esports.smitefan.com. So... that's
True story.
True
Husey
story.
asked if Direwolves could be on the bottom and Trident could be above them. True story.
Absolutely 100% true. Factual.
Well,
was.
Let's talk about last week's games anyway, guys. So, how do you think... I know we've only played 2 matches, only been in 2 weeks, but where do you see the field of teams at the moment? We'll start with you, Biggy, being the brilliant Smite mind you are. Any surprises?
I think not really. I'm surprised at the way the Dial's underperforming probably the most. I think also Avant's probably underperforming as well. In their pro league compared to scrims, having seen a lot of the scrims this season so far, I think they haven't quite clicked yet. Maybe their strategy or their preparation hasn't quite clicked yet. Because I think they're a lot stronger than they've been showing. Panda's honestly pretty standard. they went to Worlds, so they're going to come back with a lot more knowledge and a lot more structure as a team, and they're proving that with the 4-0 so far.
I agree with that, but I'm
outside
not.
of the,
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that I, for one, and I'll put my hand up and admit it, with you leaving the old Avant before they came Pandemonium, I guess you could say I was slightly negative, and I thought they may have been top 3, but they're definitely strong at the moment.
yeah, I think the games against Avant especially were that maybe Avant underperformed, but like you can't take anything away from Pandas. They're definitely the strongest team right now. Like I think just preparation wise and strategy wise, they look a lot stronger than any other team. They know what they're doing like all the time. Their comps is very specific, have a very specific purpose, and they're playing them like pretty much to perfection. And that the other team just can't keep up with that.
What about Tainted Minds? Is that the game to watch this season? Pandemonium versus Tainted Minds, because they've looked pretty good too.
I think the advantage Tainted Minds have is that if you pay attention to like what Pandas have been doing, they've been running like very specific comps. They run like an Awilix comp game 1 against Avant. Game 2 they run a split push comp. They did the exact same thing against Direwolves. So Tainted Minds have all the, I guess, the work's been done for them. I guess they just need to come up with their own strategy now, focus on Panda's weaknesses and expose those. And if they do put a lot more, like a lot of preparation into their picks and bans, especially, and the way they play the early game, I think they're a chance. But I'd expect Pandas to 2-0 them, to be honest.
For sure.
If I can, I was going to say, if I could jump in here, an advantage Tainted Minds have, as well as they have a coach. And, you know, Pandemonium did have a coach and captain coach, but it obviously didn't work out between those two parties. But Wolf Street's got a lot of playing experience as an SPL level player. And it's also just useful to have that outside perspective looking into your team and looking at other teams as well. So that could be something that Tainted Minds can use to work to their advantage.
And what about you, Jyles? Where are you at with that? The happening so far on that leaderboard?
Well, I'm good mates with the guys from Avant, so I'd hope that they'd be performing a little bit better than they have. But yeah, as Biggy said, I've heard great things about their scrims, but I haven't seen much on screen. I think Game 1 and Game 3 against Trident was very dominant, but hopefully they can come out with a few more wins this week. I'm happy where Tainted are. I think they're a new sort of roster that have come out and proven a lot of things. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with Direwolves at the moment.
All right then, that's last week. Done. That's where we are as we speak right now. The other exciting thing that happened last week, of course, was we did catch some Xbox action. Did all you guys see that? Did all you guys tune in? Did you, Biggy? Or did
I think
you
I saw the first game, I think.
Yeah, they go for a while. My goodness.
Yeah.
I thought I'd stick
honestly,
to the
like,
game. Yeah.
I think mechanically they surprised me. Like they're a lot stronger than I thought they were, but I think like their mid to late game strategy, they just had like none, or like I don't know, there's like a lack of shot calling or just experience, but they just seemed to be super late. They didn't really have like a plan. They didn't really know what they're doing. They were just kind of like, once they got through the early game of like running around and killing each other, then they kept trying to do the same thing, I guess, rather than actually, dictate the map and control the map and win that way.
It's interesting you said kill each other, because I think one of the games, it was 11, 12 minutes before we even seen First Blood, that they were playing extremely safe. And I'll just pull up that overlay for our viewers watching at the moment. But that was for example, taking on Incept, of course. And example won that one 2-0. The first two games were somewhat the mirror image of each other. The third game, legit, I think the VOD is somewhere at an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. It's ridiculous.
Oh
But
my god.
I think what surprised me and what I enjoyed about it so much is I honestly thought the restrictions of the controller would be extremely noticeable, but they seem to have a lot of freedom still in their movement. Did you catch the game, Jyles?
Yeah, I saw a couple and caught a few highlights. I was surprised to see gods like Scylla picked up and favorited amongst the Xbox guys. Because Scylla would be sort of a hit and miss god. You're either going to do really well with her or not because she's very mechanically strong. So, yeah, a lot higher skill base than I thought there would have been, just from the restrictions of having to play with a controller.
For sure. And like I said, Example went through. So this week you've got Example taking on Citadel, who, unlike their PC team last year, they've actually gone through and won all 7 weeks. So that's brought them up to 14-0. Haven't dropped a single game. So I guess you can say they're like last year's Avant, but on Xbox, doing very well. And that's a best of 5. So I think, if we've got time and can block out 2 or 3 days, we're definitely going to catch that one and stream it sometime next week. So I'm looking forward to that. And just before we go on to the next topic, we've got a handful of, now I keep saying this wrong, Hughesy, we've got season tickets. Is that right?
Yes.
Did I
Yeah,
get it? So
season tickets.
We've got a bunch of season tickets. So we're going to do a giveaway now. And that's on the basis that Nightfall's actually in the chat listening. So he's going to start that up and do a raffle. So as we start talking about the next topic, get in there, start typing in your exclamation raffle. But the exciting thing to come out, and I've been a big fan of this, and I've said for months and months, and that's regarding the skins. We've seen today that Hi-Res have said, hey, we can start now using skins in the SPL. I think that's a great thing. I think one of the big bonuses for the Smite competitors, let's just say Riot Games, apart from a handful of skins, they're always allowed to use them in game, and I think that's great at promoting what the skins look like to all the fans and viewers and everything like that. So that's something I'm excited for. I want to get your thoughts on it, guys, and we're just going to put up, I do have a bit of an overlay here which talks about who's banned. So there's still a few banned, which is all the gold, legendary, diamond skins, all shadow skins, whatever they may or may not be. Apollo Secret Agent, I own him, but I guess I'm not playing him anytime soon. Dark Lord Sun Wukong, Nut Crow, that's a play on words, isn't it? Nut Chromancer and Galactic, I can't pronounce his names, Apush. We'll go with that.
Apwash.
Star Slayer
Close
and
enough.
and Death Machine and Feaster, Bunny, Bacchosaurus. So this is what do you guys think about the OPL possibly using skins?
I'm against the idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
controversy.
Wow.
I don't think it's very necessary, to be honest. I think it creates more trouble than it's worth, in my opinion.
Is that with the gameplay from a game perspective? Because there's probably a high chance it'll screw our replays without a doubt. But anything.
Yeah. Or I think it's just the visual and audio cues. There's like very small things on like very specific abilities that if you're not used to playing against, it can throw you off, or like you won't recognize something like in your peripherals or something, and it's just harder to play against. I think it can probably be abused, which I don't think, like when you can just use default skins and everyone's on the level playing field, I think why not just do that?
So you're saying that
Yeah, exactly.
someone could actually strat against you and get accustomed to using a skin, might be a complete random skin or even an exclusive skin people can't access, and that could in turn provide them an advantage.
Yeah, I just thought like in general, but yeah, like someone who may invest a lot of money, I guess, a professional in skins can do that. And then, yeah, if you've never played with that skin, because you just, like, I know some pros just like don't buy skins because they just don't see the point. They're not used to playing with it, then they're not used to playing against it. So yeah, they're at a disadvantage. They kind of have to get used to playing against certain skins, I guess.
What about you, Hughesy? Apart from being a commentator, of course, you do have that master colluding admin role. What's your view on it
Yep.
from an admin point of view?
Well, there's my phone.
Well,
That's
we can
awkward.
just ask them.
Rip.
We can get them
Yeah,
involved.
I'll get my grandmother on the phone. God, pick it up, someone.
You're gonna.
No, I'm not going to answer it because there's 5 other people in my house. So surely someone can get the phone. I'm pretty indifferent on it. From a casting point of view, as long as the gold, diamond, legendary skins, and shadow skins, which basically, I believe the shadow skins also cause issues with replayers. As long as those ones are gone, I don't really mind. I guess coming from a player's perspective, as Biggy said, there could be issues with things like people using exclusive skins and stuff that give them an advantage. That's why I guess High Res has got the list of other skins in there that are banned, because maybe those are the ones that are exploitable to an extent that it can be game changing. From the flip side of that, as you said, Stephen, you said multiple times to us casters when we've been doing games and stuff, it does provide a good marketing opportunity for Hi-Res to be able to show off their skins and stuff. And that's where I think this change has come from, is Hi-Res recognizing they need to market themselves a little bit better than what they're currently doing. From an admin perspective, that's where it becomes a bit more complicated, especially in terms of things like exploits and stuff, because it opens up a whole new can of worms in terms of people contesting match results because of skin exploits and stuff like that. But I'm still pretty indifferent on it. I think I couldn't care really much either way. I mean, I don't think it'll have a major impact on the game, and if it did, Hi-Res wouldn't be doing it anyway. I think they're smart enough to know their own game to the point of things like whether skins can be exploited or not. And we saw, I was informed of this earlier, that the Sobex Kaiju skin didn't used to have a sound effect on its dash, which made it, which was basically made it a bit stronger than its default skin, because a lot of times you would use the sound cues to preemptively activate your purification in order to not be caught by that dash. And if there was no sound effect, you wouldn't have any prompt to do that purification. They've then since added in a sound effect for that, so that now it is a bit more of a level playing field. I think it also provides a little bit more excitement in broadcasting, different animations and things like that, and different, because the skins are only just one part of what skins bring. I should explain that a bit better. The god models themselves are only one part of what a skin brings. A skin also brings new effects in terms of the abilities and things like that, and new voice lines. Even though you don't hear them that often, occasionally after a god escapes on very low health, they emit a little sound bite and things like that. And that's all exciting and stuff to hear from viewers. But the visual aspect, I think, of different abilities, like the Kraken on Poseidon's Blackbeard skin is a giant shark, which I think looks a far sight better than the ordinary Kraken, or even on the Poolside skin is a giant rubber duck. So different effects like that look really cool, and I think it might be good to see in the game. But I also understand the flip side of it, where it can cause problems. So I'm really kind of in the middle on this issue. I don't really have an opinion either way.
Would this be a path which might lead to better skins? Because Smite has a lot of this, and I'm still learning all this with the whole recolor thing. Recolor is pretty much same skin, but instead of blue, they'll put pink on it. That's in borderline a recolor. That's correct, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
So, but what
I think gods. I was going to say every god's got that, but the difference is that skin doesn't cost you gems, which is the currency that costs you money to purchase. They can be purchased with the in-game currency favor, and so that's just if you want an alternate look to the base model.
But we don't have too many good skins, do we? Where they're completely changed. There's not a lot of great skins out there in general, is there?
Have you seen Mercury's?
I'd say there is. I'd say there's a lot of good skins out there. Janus has got a lot of great skins. I think every god's got. I mean, there's obviously one or two that don't have that many that great, but there is a fair few of them out there that have got pretty good skins. I think Hi-Res does a decent job in that department.
All right, that was my misconception. Because every time we give away skins, there's always this recolor talk. It's like, dude, it's a skin. You put it on, you look different. Be happy.
That's because recolors. Recolors are very much second-class citizens in terms of skins, because recolors can be purchased with favor. They're ones that you don't need to spend any money on, so it's like it's not that big of an incentive. Which is weird when you're getting a skin for free. I think you should be excited about anything you get for free, to be honest, but that's just my perspective.
I'm excited, but I think I've got the Apollo one, which is banned, Secret Agent. That one's pretty cool. I like that. And then I've got the Alien one. That's pretty awesome. Who's that on? Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's my list of skins. That's what I have. Pretty proud of them. My collection of 2, of course. So, any last word on skins overall? Where Biggy's a little bit preferred not. Jyles, you were not, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm against it.
Yep, and Hughesy.
I think if you had just the tier 2s and the recolors, the ones that don't give you a different voice pack and different ability effects would work.
Yeah, I don't mind recolors, and yeah, like I'd probably agree with Jyles there.
So if recolors came to the
That's
OPL, generally you used to would be happy because it has little impact, but just adds that smallest bit of variety, I guess. All right.
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
I just think the fact that it's professional, just like keep it professional. I prefer to just watch it for the gameplay rather than see some like dubstep Janice running around making annoying noises than actually like appreciating the gameplay rather than just like looking at skins or nice skins.
But you have to recognize that Hi-Rez has got the bigger market for Hi-Rez is not the competitive scene, is the casual scene.
Yeah, but if you're watching
the
competitive, you obviously know about the game or have like, if you're seriously taking an interest in like watching competitive and you can understand that that's actually a skin in the game, like that you pay gems for, rather than just like the default skin, then like you should already know about that. Like you're already playing the game, you're already buying skins. Because like if I watch League of Legends, I have no idea what's a default skin, what's a special skin, because I don't play the game. Even if I watch League of Legends, but if I was
but even then, don't you think though, when you see a cool skin in like one of the League of Legends casts, like wow, that's a cool skin, that looks pretty cool. Even if you don't think I want to go and buy it, you still think that's pretty cool.
I got.
I don't know what it is. So.
I got the Ghost Gangplank skin. It's called Spooky Gangplank. I got Minuteman Gangplank. I've got Sailor Gangplank. I've got, I think there's a General. I got General Gangplank. I got Default Gangplank. I got all the Gangplank skins, man. Come at me. That's all I have to say, and I love them. No good at the game, so I get enjoyment out of. Actually, I don't play LOL, but I do have. Maybe I could sell my account. We can do that, can't we? Anyone want a level 30 bronze 5 LOL account? But it's got lots of cool skins, some legendary ones, I think. So, all right. Now let's get this out. We got a bit of Lash Out. So what I want to do is we'll start off with you, Hughesy. Basically, what pisses you off?
Oh God, do you have to really?
Smite? Yeah, you're the first one to the side.
Mine'll probably be I don't know. No, you know, after this week,
something, and you guys just before you go, you guys in the chat as well, get involved with this. What pisses you off? We want to know about it.
What pisses me off? Oh, and I only get to choose one.
You can choose 3 things if you want.
You've
got to have some limit. We can't be here all night.
Yeah. I suppose, you know, I've copped a bit of hate over the last, say, month more than I've ever copped it before, I reckon. Just people, and like, you know, we say over and over as admins, like, we do a lot of stuff and that, so I'm not going to harp on about that this time because I feel like I've done that enough. I just feel like the entitlement in the scene is pretty big because a lot of people get, like, if you think about it, there's 6 teams currently in the OPL. So that's 30 players on the starting rosters, not including subs and stuff. And every single one of those players is getting paid to play. You go to the Challengers Cup scene as well, and a lot of the top teams, I forget how many of the top teams there, get gems to play as well.
Top 3 every week.
So you've got a scene that, there you go. So you've got a lot of teams that are getting something for playing, right? That they all they have to do is they have to show up, like in the Pro League especially, you have to show up, you play the game, a game that you supposedly love, and you get paid for it, right? And then they feel like they're entitled to so much more, though. And you look at other esports and even other scenes within Smite and their early developmental years, and they didn't get near the amount of stuff that OCE Smite is getting in relative terms. Like, obviously, we're still far behind where North America are this year, or even in the last couple of years. But when Smite first started out, and when other esports first started out, especially in OCE, they got so little. Like Halo, one of the longest established games, one of the biggest video games of all time, had so little when they started out, and have so little right now. Like, the only essentially a big event they've had in the last couple of years was the Halo World Championship qualifier, and even then they didn't get the support that this year's Smite teams are getting. And so the fact that teams keep wanting more and more and more is a little aggravating sometimes to see. It's like, I don't know how to accurately express it. Like, yeah, it's good that we're trying to get sustainable esports and things like that, but at the same time, you got to slow it down a little bit and understand, the pace that these things come out, rather than trying to grab it all at once. That's pretty much what I wanted to put out there.
All right. What about you, Jyles? You're a little different, I guess, from the rest of us, because you don't have the title of admin, I guess, and you're not really involved in teams anymore. But you certainly see enough horse shit getting thrown around.
Yeah, I mean, I see both sides of it. But I don't know. It just comes down to, I guess, everyone's still young and you put in a lot of time playing the game and stuff. But I think what people don't see is the amount of time that the admins put in and the rewards the admins don't get. They don't get the payment each split. Like, they don't get all that sort of stuff. And they put in just as much, if not more time than a player does. So I think the hate on admins, and especially the team we have at the moment, isn't justified. I think back in like the beginning, where there was a few admin decisions that were pretty awful, it might have been justified, but not at the moment. I don't feel like the admins are doing much. Well, Nightfall, yeah, subject to some. But yeah, that's my my perspective on it.
And then Biggy, you're in a totally different position again from these two, like, because no one knows what it is you either do. But what pisses you off about the scene? And then we'll get to some. We'll have a look through chat and see what pisses them off.
I don't know. I'm pretty good at the moment. I think.
Oh,
We
lost him.
good. He
said he was pretty good, and now he's all frozen.
With a big grin on his face. Rodder Mellons will be happy. There we go.
Sometimes admins make the wrong decision.
Oh, there he is.
But,
He's back. You cut out all that part, Biggie, so you probably need to repeat yourself.
Wait, really?
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I just want like maybe a bit more professionalism in the way like the games are set up. I think it's still a bit too flexible, and I know I was speaking to Husey a little bit, and those kind of things are being introduced in Split 2. So I don't really have any issues. Like, I'm pretty happy with the way things have progressed from last season, and then even I think this first split almost never happened just because of how rushed it was, and the fact that we got a pro league and we're getting a LAN, I think with such short notice is good for the scene. So yeah, I don't really have any problems right now.
I know. I've heard you complaining in some casuals about people warding and Joust 3v3s, Biggie.
Yeah, don't ward and Joust. I don't even want in casual conquest.
What about in chat? What do we got in here?
Don't want it Joust.
Have you seen anything in chat, Husey? I know you like looking at the Twitch chat. What pisses these off? A couple of guys pissed off losing pro league games because.
Yeah, Laney. This one's really speaking. This one's really speaking to me. Laney, Husey's fat face pisses me off. Not much I can do about that, Laney. I responded to him. Your subpar ADC play pisses me off. So there you go.
Nice.
Fighting words.
Yeah. I mean, prove me wrong. Win a game.
Your corruption. Well, it's not corruption because he doesn't walk away with a benefit. So whatever decision he makes, he's not making a personal gain. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
So that's something which bugs me. People using words they don't understand. You can't be a corrupt admin unless you're doing something for financial gain or personal gain. And
at least just call it what it is, and being a trash admin. That's all it is. Just call it what it is.
That's what I do. What bugs me is teams who harp on about seeding, because my philosophy is if you're not completely garbage, seeding shouldn't be a factor. I think weak teams who aren't good at the game fight for best seeding. That's what I think. You get some unlucky games here and there, but ultimately, do you know who didn't whinge about seeding at all last year? Avant-Garde. Do you know who hasn't whinged about seeding at all this year? Pandemonium. I wonder why. Because
I don't think they've played a relegations tournament
they haven't been down there.
Since forever. They've never played one, actually. I think they went straight into Invitational.
Well,
Didn't
no,
you, Biggie?
Did they well, they went into Invitational, but Invitational, they probably finished. But, you know, they didn't bitch whether they were first or second, did they? Or fourth.
Well, even teams like going into the qualifiers for the OPL, Take Two, Tainted Minds, when they were Take Two, they said, we're wondering about seeding, but it doesn't matter either way. We know we're going to get through regardless. We just want to know where we stand so we can do some preparation. Get Sourced was the same way.
I mean, our pub stomp team knocked out third seed first round. So seeding doesn't matter because we were a pickup group that had never played together, and we knocked out the third seed.
Jyles, you had an unfair advantage. You had the power of the burrito behind you. All right, don't underestimate that.
That's fair enough.
That is fair enough. So I can't
Cool.
If you think about seeding as well, in the first week of qualifiers, there were 3 teams seeded from the previous OPL. There was Get Sourced, there was Invidious, and then there was at the time Paragon Esports, now Law Gaming. Only one of them made it through, which was Get Sourced. The other two, the number 2 seed and the number 3 seed, didn't make it through. So obviously seeding, doesn't have that much of an impact.
I mean, it was good that there was 2 weeks of tournaments and different ways to get in, but it shouldn't have it's not the worst thing if it's a bad seed, but it can be.
I used to,
and I think Challengers Cup shouldn't be random seed anymore.
It's not actually random. It's not actually random seeding. And I did publicly show the settings. Random seeding set to no. It is, but something.
Did it just mess up?
Yeah, something went wrong. Shit happens. You showed me a bit of software which has never failed you once. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So I can't see too much from chat. Everyone in chat, from what I can gather, loves the admins. They do. They want to support you directly. They want you to have a donation link around your neck when you cast Husey, so they can give you.
Oh, I think I have one of those actually. I think I've got a big golden chain with dollars on it or something like that.
There you go. But
I've definitely got a belt buckle with a spinning wheel.
So everyone's happy. So it looks to me like there's no go to the Reddit this week, which I'm personally excited about. And so is Jyles. So I want to move on. We want to ask these 2 guests. I don't really consider Husey a guest overall. You're not new to the whole podcast.
Could I quickly mention something, Cyanide?
If you have to.
Yeah, it just while we're talking about Reddit, I really want to give a shout out to someone I'm very proud of. So Saber from the community. Every week he's been doing these write-ups of analysis and recaps of the Pro League games after they've happened, and he started writing for a freelance site, essentially. What this shows is the power of not only the Smite community, but just individuals going out there and doing something. So he just decided to do these recaps. No one told him to do them. No one on the admin team or casters told him to go out there and do that kind of thing. He just decided to do it because he was passionate about it. And that's how you get anywhere. That's how players at the top level get to where they are. They decide, I want to be good at this game, so I'm going to commit some time to play it. That's how casters start casting. We just go out there and you start casting. That's what I did. I went out there and recorded a YouTube video. Then that was it. That's how you get anywhere, is you just go and do something. And people, if you're not completely 100% hopeless at it, will support you. And even if you're hopeless at something, people will support you and tell you how to get better. So I get a lot of questions about, how do I cast or how do I get more involved with the scene? And the answer 99.9% of the time is just go out and do it. If you want to do a cast, just find a mate and cast with someone. If you want to get involved with things like writing or graphic designs for the scene and stuff, just go out there and do it. You will get noticed. The scene is small enough that people will notice you. So that's just the message I want to put out there.
You finished?
It's a good message.
But you're right. The amount of people that ask, and if you're going to apply for something as well, if you've got an interest, there's always someone to contact. Don't go to them and say, hey, I want to do this, but have no examples, all right? Because you just get laughed at. You just get laughed at. So let's have a look here. I got some questions for Jyles. I do, and obviously Biggy. 20 questions, but we're going to split this up and do 2 each. And if I can find these questions, there they are. I will certainly start asking. We're going to start off with you, Jyles, because like I said, I don't think a lot of people really A, care for you, or B, know exactly what it is you do. You're just this. You just float around here. All right. So, how old are you, Jyles?
Yeah, all right. I'm 20 years old.
20 years young, of course. And where do you live?
Wagga Wagga, currently.
Do you own a
course.
sheep and make Facebook videos and wear wigs? No?
No.
No, okay, that's not you. Okay.
That's the goat.
Okay, something
Gary the goat.
everyone wants to know, including myself, is what exactly is it that you do within the Smite community?
Well, apart from run the Reddit, kinda, I'm also the graphic designer for Pro League and basically just cyber gamer. So all the stream assets and stuff you see in Pro League, I've made myself. That's kind of it at the moment. I used to be an admin. I was a failed coach. I was a failed player. So I guess you could say I was a failed admin, so I'm here now.
So you're just like Biggy, except you know how to use Photoshop.
And Biggy wasn't exchange admin player. Is that what you're saying, Yuzi?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So, do you have a Twitter account? First of all, what's your Twitter?
Yep.
Everyone.
It's at Jyles or Die.
Oh wow, that's a bit.
And
harsh.
it's also my Twitch user.
That's a bit harsh, mate.
So reference to like Skate or Die, which I don't know, it was a film
you want people
long
to
time
ride
ago,
you or
but
die? Is that what we get out of that? Upload Jyles go for a ride. All right then.
I suppose so.
Last year you had some involvement with teams. You certainly did. You can see now you're wearing your SYF top there. Why no involvement this year?
I'm kind of involved in llamas in pajamas at the moment, just helping them out because they're probably the top Challenger Cup team, but no real involvement like last year. It's just to stay freelance and kind of avoid the bias you get when you're on a team.
Situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smart option.
the colluding and all that fun stuff.
All right.
Leaking information early.
You're a good-looking bloke.
Shout out.
You're a good-looking bloke, of course. Are you available?
I am single.
You are single,
Yes.
so all the hot-looking esports grills, as the young kids like to say, should head over to @Jyles and Die. Jyles or Die.
He didn't say just women. You know, there's some guys out there.
Oh, no.
That like a guy with
Just-
long hair.
just women.
Anyone at all. So there you go. Jyles is available for you. I was going to ask you, what do you hate most about the Smite game itself?
The game itself.
Yep. What don't you like about Smite?
Oh, just today I was making a tweet, and it's really just comes down to matchmaking. Is probably the thing I hate the most. I really don't like the matchmaking at the moment. I think it's a bit too flexible.
I'm keen to discuss matchmaking as a topic later on because it's always something I hear about. So if
We lost
nothing
Biggy,
else-
by the way.
Yeah, Biggy's gone. He may or may not come back. It's a weird time to escape just before it's his question time, isn't it? What?
I mean, yeah, I think he probably,
Bail out.
he's probably anticipating what the questions are and decided he didn't want to be a part of it. Hopefully, this doesn't mess up your video overlay,
It
but I feel
certainly
like it
does.
might.
Doesn't look like it has. Oh, I just
There you go.
yeah.
Give it a second. It'll go all chunky.
See if we can.
Dropouts happen. Yeah, move your head around, Hughes.
Oh,
See
yeah,
if
there
you
we
can
go.
Put it up the top. see how that works.
Is it better now?
Oh, somewhat. And if Jyles went a bit higher,
It's ruined.
you ruined
I don't
it.
know. I don't think my head is ever going to fix anything. So
We can. We might be able to fix that. Not right now. We'll just we'll let it go. Not much we can do about that. So
Berserk. Jyles is single, hates matchmaking.
what would you change
funny.
most
That's
about
pretty
the
good.
Smite scene? That's the one. What would you change most about the
Ooh.
actual Smite scene in the region?
Kind of on what Husey was talking about. I'd like there to be more content creators out there. So a big thing I want to see is maybe a website like Smite Central or Tier Monster come out of Australia. That would be really cool. I think we need more of that. More graphic designers, because it's really just me doing most of things. I know I've seen Ro start doing a lot more. Funke's doing a bit. The stuff they're doing is really cool. But yeah, there could be way more, and there just isn't.
Predictions
So
of that?
it's kind of weird. Yeah, it's weird for a gaming scene because almost every other scene out there has heaps of content creators. Everyone that wants that audience or just the fun in doing something creative, but we don't have too much of it in our little niche community.
All right, and then the last one I got for you. After today, would you ever come back to the Smite Show?
Yeah, I think I'd come back. Seems pretty cool.
It is very cool. It is.
Yeah, I like the graphics that I didn't have to make, except for that white box, which took forever because you didn't get the dimensions right.
Come on, what I did, I went the real easy way out, and I got my crop tool, and I put my crop tool down. I thought, yeah, this is spot on. This is amazing. All right, going the easy way. Just give me 1 second, and I'll throw, because Biggy isn't back yet, I'm going to throw these questions to you.
Do you want me to just answer as if I was Biggie? I can answer for Biggie if you want.
We can't answer for Biggy.
Sounds like collusion.
So
I mean, exactly. You got the meme guys.
there we go. This should just a second, and then we should be all but there. There we go. Fixed it. Only took me 10 minutes. So we can't ask Biggie. He's gone and done the runner, but we'll ask you. Well, this first question is still relevant for you.
Hey, exactly. You know, most of these are probably still relevant. So
what was it like carrying Trident to the Pro League?
it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I didn't have to do any playing. All I had to do was basically what I do as an admin normally. They actually didn't get me to do anything except what I do as an admin normally and what I do for like pretty much every other team. But for some reason, they were compelled to pay me $375. And so I was like, you know what? I don't get any other money, so may as well.
Hey,
and then that's pretty much it.
Hey,
you know, I can't really say anything much else about it.
You were borderline late tonight because you got a job. Come on.
Oh, I mean, no other money from Smite.
All right then. So I can't ask you the second question because that's kind of irrelevant because no one cares.
Well, I can answer it
cares.
still if you want to.
No one
Yeah,
cares
exactly.
if that's relevant to you or not. But I will ask you this one: being a commentator, you're observant. Well, not really. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to tell you to go to solo lane or something through the streams. But
You don't tell me shit. How many first bloods have you missed this season, Steve?
Oh, rip.
Yeah.
more than I did the entire year.
CGS
last year.
rip.
I had.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but that wasn't my fault. I'm blaming. Who did I push the blame on? That was Lynx. I think I blamed for.
Just blame Nightfall. It's what we do in every other situation. It seems to work out.
So Linky Bill. Anyway, he wants to know who has the larger forehead, Jyles or Biggy?
Jyles or Biggie?
Biggie had a beanie on, so.
No, but I've seen Biggie's 5 head before.
I do have. I don't have it now. I certainly.
I have seen it before. Now, they're pretty close. They are pretty close in terms of size of forehead. I think Biggie's head is just a little bit wider though, so I think that might tip him over the edge.
There we go. It's up on stream right now. Yeah, Jyles got the bigger one. That's not even because Jyles.
Let me take a look.
Yeah.
I've got,
What are we
You
doing?
can give it a second. Yours
I've
starts
got to
at the
refresh
top of
the
your head,
screen.
as in halfway, Jyles. Biggie's is still somewhat.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I can see it. Biggie's picture's more zoomed out though. I don't know. I think Biggie's got the bigger forehead. It's just because of width rather than length.
We'll have to measure at LAN the next time we're both there.
Well, Biggie's back online. He might be rejoining soon, folks. Hold on to your horses.
Give him a second. Have you typed anything in there? Because I'd like to ask him these questions.
No,
We'll have
he's
to do
just
maths.
popped back online and go. Do you want to keep running through these or just wait for the big
Well,
dog?
I'd prefer to ask Biggie the questions. Like I said, Hughesy, unfortunately, you're just not.
I'm down. I just sit here and drink. I don't know.
What do you got in that?
I was inspired by Timmy the other day to actually go out and buy some mead. It's pretty nice. It's pretty drinkable.
While we're actually waiting for Biggie, let's talk about this week. All right, so we'll skip the half of the 20 questions in case Biggie comes back online, and let's talk about this week. So this week's a monster week. If no one knows,
Yeah.
and actually someone didn't know, and it was someone from the casting team, wasn't it? Was it Timmy? Was it Timmy who had no concept?
Yeah, it was
this
Timmy.
Week? Yeah, but this week, ladies and gentlemen, is the Super Week, and I'm going to bring this up. You're not seeing double. This is 100%. Oh, we've still got Biggie up there. Let me take him off the schedule. There we go. So this is this week. 3 games starting from 4 p.m. Saturday, 3 games 4 p.m. Sunday. Like, that's pretty massive. That's like 6 games. 6
Yeah.
games.
That.
6,
There
I
you
think.
go.
And the good game, I guess, or the most anticipated game I was talking about earlier, is straight off the bat, we got Panda
one
versus
good-
Tainted. What's your guys' thoughts
Yeah.
on that? Yuzi?
It's going to be big.
Ooh. You would have thought that I spoke then, but in fact it was Giles. Oh, you would have thought Giles spoke then, but it was in fact me. It should be a good one. I'm still expecting Pandemonium to win. I do my predictions every week, and so I'll write them out again for this week. I say every week. I did them last week, and I've started them back up again. But I still expect this one to go the way of Pandemonium. Biggie made the very valid point before that Pandemonium went to the Smite World Championship. They did get their shit pushed in there, to put it as politely as possible. But that's a big learning experience. And I think a lot of OCE teams learn that every time they go international. They learn a lot from that. And I think that the rest of the scene hasn't yet caught up to Pandemonium's playstyle, which is now infused with some of that international knowledge. And though Tiny Minds is 4-1, they've won both of their sets so far. They still did drop a game to Jyles. I still think Pandemonium is just the players on that team are more complete players, and they've got a very intelligent Smite mind controlling that team, which is Rogue.
So where's your vote? 2-1, 1-2, 2-1?
2-0 Pandemonium. 2-0 Pandemonium.
2-0 Pandemonium. Jyles?
Yeah, it's gonna be like whoever wins this is gonna come first in this first split, I reckon. I'm hoping my boys Tainted Minds get it, but I think it'll go 2-1 Panda.
All right, Direwolves and Trident. Now this one, yet again, it's on. According to the leaderboard, this game should be just as tight, shouldn't it? But for the opposite reasons. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Direwolves super strong last year. They've made some changes. They're just not. They just don't. They just can't get it, can they? At the moment. And then you've got Trident, who is a special breed of team currently, and this one also tough. Where do you think of this one, Jyles?
I don't know. I think Dials just had a rough couple weeks. I feel like hopefully by now they've worked out the kinks and they might start playing at that level that they should be playing at. Trident are still sort of like working their thing out as well. So I have a feeling it's going to be a Direwolves 2-0, but it could go either way. It just depends on how the teams are playing at the moment.
And what about you, Hughesy? Which way you're going?
I think it'll be 2-1 Direwolves. I think it'll actually be pretty close because Trident's been a team together for only a short period of time, and I think playing, the more that they play and the more time they have under the belt, the more scrims they can get, the better that they'll get. Because they're all actually very talented players, and I think they're all a bit underrated. And now I know people are going to start calling Corruption, and I've got a soft spot for them and stuff. And, yeah, you know, Laney on that team is one of my friends. Everyone in this scene has got their friends. Jyles has got his boys on Avant-Garde and Tainted Minds and things like that. But I think all of those players are very good players. I think even if, you know, a couple of them like Elkira and Destinate weren't the ones that qualified for the Pro League, they wouldn't have been put onto a Pro League team for no reason. So I think that they have the ability to go toe-to-toe with the Direwolves, especially after the performances we've seen out of the Direwolves. The last 2 weeks have been pretty uninspired and very, very flat. It feels almost as if there's a lack of structure going on with them at the moment. And if they can keep pulling together, I feel like they can make it very, very difficult for Direwolves to walk away with a 2-0. That being said, I still think Direwolves will take the series. I think the innate skill of those players should prove to be too tough. I think if this was the last week of the competition, however, I might change my mind. But being the place that it is, and especially in Super Week, I think Direwolves will take it 2-1.
You could have casted that game in less time, I feel, Hughesy. That's just my observation. This one,
I have a lot of thoughts.
I'm excited about this one. Sin Gaming taking on Avant-Garde. Avant-Garde, they've got
this is going to be a good one.
A lot of good guys in the team. They're getting their stuff sorted. They're working through it. Sin Gaming have been playing reasonably well, and I personally would think Sin Gaming should be the favourites, but Avant-Garde, I feel they want some. I feel they're going to come out. They're my favourites. All right, you don't tell me no. They're mine. Jyles.
Yeah, I'm excited for this match. There's a bit of banter between the two teams because we all know Fonke got dropped off the Integral Nation lineup just after PAX and made his own team, brought up by Guy, and then now they're into the Pro League. So, bit of a rivalry, but I think Avant's just got to work out, like, they just got to get it right when they're playing their professional games and know that they're doing well in scrims, but they've got to push it that step further. So I think it's going to be a close set, but I think Avant will go 2-1.
All right, and just on that, give me 2 seconds here, because I really want to get Biggy back in. So I'm going to end this Skype call, and everyone can hear me talk just for a moment. So there goes that, and now we can retry this one here. Australian internet is pretty bad. That's the only way. Poor Hughesy there, he's lagging out like a boss. Let's see if we can't get him all back in here. So Hughesy's back, still lagging, of course.
Hey!
And then we got Biggy. Biggy's back. The excitement is real. So, did you finish talking about Sin Gaming then, Jyles, or was I just rude and interrupted you?
Yeah. My predictions, Avant 2-1.
2-0
If not
Avant.
2-0. Maybe 2-0.
2-0 Avant.
All right. And what was yours, sorry, Hughesy?
2-0 Avant.
To Avant.
I think, yep, 2-0 Avant, because Avant needed a match series win, and they got it against Trident. And in the games that they won, they were dominant. In the game that they lost, it was still extremely close, and that was because in a large part of the Trident draft in that game favored their kind of play style. As well as that, Sin Gaming, I feel like are going to be preparing more for Pandemonium this week than Avant-Garde, and so that could lead to a lack of knowledge and study on the Avant-Garde lineup. Whereas Avant-Garde, they're playing Sin and Jyles, and they're going to be relaxed a little bit about Jyles this week because they know their record. I think Avant-Garde should take this one 2-0.
What about you, Biggie?
Yeah, I think Avant 2-0, but like if I think any like team in this Pro League can take a game off the other. I think it depends I think Avant have to like turn a corner here and kind of show up. Like they've been showing up in scrims, they just need to show up in the Pro League, and if they get a strong 2-0, then that'll put them in a good position leading into their games. I think against Tainted Minds, like next Direwolves and then Tainted Minds in the following week.
So that's Saturday, and by this time we're pretty exhausted. No VOD Saturday night because we'll all be sleeping. Over to the Sunday. Apart from the Challengers Cup going on, we've got another 3 games in the Super Week. Pandemonium versus Sin Gaming. Jyles.
Pretty sure Panda will have this 2-0. I just think they're playing a more disciplined game, Panda, and they're all really good players. So, yeah, I feel like they're just going to go out and play these games pretty textbook and take it 2-0. Sin might be able to take a game off them, but it just doesn't seem realistic from a viewer's perspective, I guess.
Too strong? Sway might get
Panda's too strong.
Might get sick. Probably some subs, 2 subs.
Yeah.
Suddenly things change. Suddenly. Easy?
All right, Pandas don't have any subs though, so they're going to play if they're sick or not.
With Biggie.
Husey, what's your thoughts on
I'm
that
already
game?
roster locked on it.
So this is Pandemonium versus Sin. Pandemonium 2-0. Unfortunately for Sin, it looks like, if things go according to the way I say them, they'll be going 0-4 this week, which puts them in a really dire spot. But no pun intended for Direwolves. They don't play Direwolves this week. But I think Pandemonium, as I said previously, now Biggie made the comment that any team can take a game off any other team. I don't think any team can take a game off Pandemonium during the regular season. When it comes to LAN, maybe a different story, but I think during the regular season, the biggest threats to Pandemonium are themselves, and I don't see them unfolding against Sin. I think their playstyle works too well. The biggest matchup, the 2 best players on Sin, and this is probably going to cause some controversy, but that's what this show's for anyway. The 2 best players on Sin are HS2. There's my phone again. No one in this house can answer a phone.
Nice.
I'm going to push through it. The 2 best players on Sin Gaming are HS247 in the jungle and Agony in the mid lane. Just so happens that the 2 best players on Pandemonium are Ro in the jungle and a Cheater in the mid lane, and I feel like they're both stronger players than their respective counterparts on Sin Gaming. So I feel like that the big push that Sin is looking for from those two players won't be effective against Pandemonium.
Biggie?
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to that matchup. I think HS and Agony, but I just think Ro and Cheetah have way too much experience in both like in their roles and in competitive Smite. Like I really rate Agony as a mid laner, but I think I think did he play for Team Solo Theo?
Team Solo Theo.
That's it.
My
But, like,
goodness, what a horrid name.
he was always a standout on that team. I think HS is a bit inexperienced in the jungle, but he's got he's got a lot of skills. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took it to them, but I just think the longer the game goes on, the experience from Pandas will show, and I think it'll be a 2-0.
And then Avant
I feel like they'll get outdrafted more than anything. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just to add.
No, that's right.
I feel like
you want to keep talking. You talk, Jyles. It's all yours, buddy.
No. Just want to make sure my point gets across.
It
I
will.
feel like Pandas, Picks and Bans is the best in our scene. You may go.
So Panda dominate the picks and bans. They know what the score is. They win games at picks and bans, you're saying.
They just pick and ban with a purpose. Like the meta at the moment, I think like the way that they removed a bunch of the buffs and they fixed the map. I think the skill gaps closed. Like with the items with the new relic system, like the skill gap player to player has closed because it's a much easier game. I think a lot of it's drafting right now and how you play your draft. And Rowe will always prepare, will put most of his preparation into his draft and will outdraft most teams and will draft with a purpose. And I think the other teams need to start putting more emphasis on that themselves if they want to take games off Pandas, which I don't see. I think teams can take games off them in scrims, but in a competitive scenario, I just don't think anyone right now can take a game off them.
All right, and
in the OPL
versus Direwolves, game 6 p.m. ish Sunday night. Husey?
This, I think, could actually be the best match of the week. I think this will be actually pretty close, and I'm very torn on who to pick here, because if you go by current standings, it's Avant-Garde, but they're only technically one game up on Direwolves. Direwolves are 1-4, Avant-Garde are 2-3. If you go by last year, Direwolves destroyed the current Avant-Garde lineup. I mean, during the OPL, Kiki Omeo played Zeus before he was reworked and went 18-0 or something crazy like that. So previous experience puts it in Direwolves' current standings, say it's for Avant-Garde. I think it'll be a 2-0, but I don't know which. I'm so torn on which way to call it, because I think that once one of these teams loses one game, they get kind of on tilt, which is unfortunate. It's just kind of what I understand from the personalities of the two teams. At this stage, I think I'm going to call a 2-0 Avant-Garde.
All right then, Biggie.
I guess I've got a lot more like inside information on like both teams, especially Direwolves, but I'm not going to call a winner. I think I can't really pick. I think Avant are kind of trending up a bit at the moment, and whereas I just don't know what's going on with the Direwolves right now, like as far as individuals in a team. So it depends if Direwolves show up or not, to be honest. At the moment, I'm leading towards Avant just because I think they're putting in a bit more effort, maybe, and practicing a bit more. But the natural skill, like, you can't deny the natural skill of the players on Direwolves. So, just for me, it's just whether Dire will show up or not as a team.
Jyles?
Yeah, it does really come down to how Direwolves play this week. I think Avant realized that they've got to 2-0 everyone from now on if they want to make LAN and want to get that big paycheck at the end. So I think they're going to be digging really deep here, and hopefully they can get that 2-0 against Direwolves.
All
But
right.
it just comes down to how Direwolves turn up.
For sure. And then the last one, which I think it'd be crazy for Tainted to probably not go 2-0 against Trident, but Trident were expecting Avant to demolish them the other day, and they didn't. What's your thoughts on Trident Esports versus Tainted Minds Biggie?
I honestly think that player for player, Trident has like some of the best players in their roles. Like, I think Beast is really good. Obviously, moving to mid, I still think he can hang with just about any mid laner. I think Laney's, like, if not the top, pretty much the top, one of the top hunters, like, in the region. Destinate, I think, is a really solid mechanical player, but he's just inconsistent on the role and hasn't been in the team long enough. And, Alkira has, like, played solo and, like, had a bit of experience on Chiefs and whatnot. It's just how well I think it's just, for me, it's how well they've gelled as a team, because I know Tainted Minds have really gelled as a team and they're putting in a lot of effort. They're like in good contention to go to LAN, and I think maybe they're a bit hungrier to go to LAN, but I wouldn't put it past Trident to take a game off them. In a best of three, though, I'd have to say Tainted Minds
Jyles?
will win.
Yeah, I think Tainted Minds has that sort of momentum behind them, so they'll probably look for the 2-0. Trident is still trying to work out everything with being a new roster and a few roster changes here and there, so I think it'll be Tainted 2-0, but Trident might turn up and be able to prove something different. I hope they do.
All right. Quickly, Hughes?
I think it depends on if Tatum Mines play Pandemonium before or after Trident? Because if Tatum Mines play Pandemonium before, I think it could be Trident in a 2-1 because of that momentum Jyles was talking about will get halted very quickly against Pandemonium. If they play Trident before they play Pandemonium, I would expect a 2-1 Tatum Mines, probably a 2-0.
Well, they're on the other end of the spectrum, aren't they? Because one is their first game, one is their last game as far as the stream schedule goes. So whether that's how they seeing that plastered out on Twitter and whatnot this week, whether that's something in which they naturally play in something like that order. The question I got then is if Tainted Minds play Trident first, then will that give them more hype, more motivation against Pandemonium? Does it work in reverse?
Could do. Yeah, it could do.
Fair question.
Especially if
if
they stomp Trident, then yeah.
I think I'd rather play Pandemonium first. Just put all your effort into your practice and your scrimming and like your picks and bans into preparing for Pandemonium. Play them and like put everything into that, and then give it your best shot at winning. And then, regardless of what happens, then you play Trident after. I think if they play Trident before, they're gonna have to put like a lot more of their preparation into that. And then if that doesn't go exactly to plan, then they might second guess themselves against Pandas. Whereas like if they beat Pandas, then or they lose to Pandas, whatever happens. If they beat Pandas, they'll go in super confident against Trident and probably stomp them. If they lose to Pandas, then they'll still be confident because I still think they're a better team than Trident, like at the moment as a unit.
For sure. Yeah. Now
I think that's a fair point.
We're going to do 5 minutes of questions and answers with the guys in Twitch chat, but just before we do that, Biggy, you ran out the door when I wanted to ask you questions, but we'll quickly do a couple of questions and see how you go. So the first question we did ask Yuzi because it was more than relevant for him as well, but we'll ask you, what was it like carrying Trident to the Pro League? Because I actually made the comment that Biggie couldn't even carry Thor's hammer, let alone a team, into Pro League, because I think you had a bit of a rough patch there. You were feeding at times. You're making some what I consider silly play. So, how does it? What was it like carrying Trident in?
You can't carry from support. It's not. That's what everyone says. So, although the Reddit threads were entertaining to read afterwards.
Run to the Reddit, of course.
Yeah.
Any bad blood between yourself and the old Panda players?
I don't think so. Like, whatever happened. I think there was like a few small like social issues, and just with what I wanted, like from like my personal life and Smite, it was just the best decision for me to leave. And I think that they'll probably gel better as a unit without me, I think, long term, just because of and I think it's just more of a personality clash with certain players. And I think maybe
I don't think anyone.
I think everything's good.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone can fault you. If anyone's got concept of Australian esports teams and everything along those lines, I mean, you guys were together for over a year, weren't you? For a ridiculous long time. And
I think we formed. Me, Subfloor, and Sporks were on a team. I think November of 2014. Yep. So, over a year, like 14 months, and then Ro joined. I think early at the start of the year, or at the same time, I think, and then we brought in a cheetah later before the pro invite ladder. I think, yeah.
Yeah, that was right. That was 12 months ago, pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah, I still love those guys, and like regardless of how they feel about me or how they feel about me leaving, but I just felt personally that I needed to leave the team for myself, and I guess in the end it'll probably be better for them. Like I'm super impressed by the way Sway's performing. Like I'd never heard his name before they picked him up, and I didn't really rate him. I thought it's kind of risky
MVP
to
last
pick
week,
up
Biggie?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the players vote the MVP, don't they?
I don't know. I just get a list and I just go, I need to drag this person and say yes. That's as far as my knowledge. But look,
No.
I want to say that I don't think people recognise enough for the fact that you guys were together for all of pretty much 12 months. You know, that's absolutely amazing. And to make changes after January this year is always more than expected. The old team retained 4 out of 5 players. So that there is, I don't think we'll see an achievement that big for Smite for a long time. So I think that's something always to be proud of. Let's move through this. Linky wants to know, Linky Bill, all right, wants to know who has the bigger forehead, you or Dry Bear? We measured yours.
Dry Bear.
Probably Dry Bear.
Dry Bear has a big head.
Like, yeah, Dry Bear.
Dry Bear.
That's
there
a
we
fair
go.
question.
So currently you're
Dry
not
Bear.
attached to any team in the region at all. What's the plans, Biggie? What are you doing? From what I hear, you're a super mind, you're a super player, and you're just here in limbo. What is the plan?
Well, I mean, part of the reason I left Avant was I think I was over the whole like scrimming, just the grind of it. Kind of, like there's obviously other issues, but mainly for myself, I was just sick of being committed like every day. You know, like 5 till 9 scrims. You know, 5 nights a week, and then playing. And then you spend half those nights waiting around for the servers to come up. So I think I was just a bit over it, and then went into coaching, and obviously I still didn't feel like it was enough of a break from the game. So I kind of just like, and for personal reasons, just kind of like took a back step. And I'm looking at Split 2, so
Well,
I might play.
that's what I was going to ask. Do you still have the drive to be a competitive player?
I think I do. I think having a break's like done me a lot of good. I already feel a lot more confident like in my own play, and I think I came back from Worlds like, even though the way it went, I think we all came back as like a lot stronger players, and I know my shot calling's gotten a lot stronger, and just in every way my game's improved. But I just wanted a break to get my confidence back and find my feet, and then find a team I maybe felt comfortable playing on, or people I felt comfortable playing with, and that I felt were good enough to play with and go to Worlds again.
All right. Well,
And it's only split 1, so I'm not too worried. It's got a couple more weeks, and then I'll make a decision whether I want to play or not,
for sure.
and who I want to play with.
I love that mindset. We're having a chat with, I don't even know who it was. It may have been Rob Diggity the other day, and their focus isn't Split 1. Their focus is
I think it was Mouse.
Mouse. All right. It was a cool dude anyway. Who's cooler than Mr. Mouse? And they have the same mindset, like Split 1. It'd be cool if we do something, but it's not the focus. So I do praise that a lot. What's your proudest moment to date for Smite?
Please
I
say
think-
Midi QC. Please say Midi QC.
I mean, winning packs, because, I mean, that was quite surreal for us. We put in so much effort. I think way back before, like, we were the first people to really take it seriously, like, back at the end of 2014, we really, like, super try-harded. Like, we thought, before we even knew that there was going to be a pro league or, like, a team was going to go to Worlds, we just wanted to play competitively, and, with the hope of them, inviting a team to Worlds from Australia, we wanted to be that team. And to like the ups and downs of the season, and to come into the finals against Jyles, who it could have gone either way, and then to win the way we did, it felt like a lot of like hard work had paid off, and I was super happy with my decision to commit to Smite. I felt like it had been worth it in the end, and that was probably my proudest moment in Smite so far.
Awesome. What do you hate most about the actual game itself? What bugs you about the game?
Warding and Joust.
I hate farming. I don't like farming because I'm terrible at it.
Do what I do.
I wish I could just automatically game farm. That would be great.
You do. You do a bot game against Anubis, and you give yourself 20 million,
Yeah.
gold, and he still beats you. That Anubis bot is pretty broken. All right, that's something they need to nerf without a doubt. What would you change most about the Smite scene as it stands now? Non-biased converting admins.
I don't think. I can't really think of anything major. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the way things are right now.
Awesome.
Obviously, there's like obvious things like more money and whatnot, but I think the natural growth of the game is going well, and I wouldn't really change anything.
Did you expect to see more teams between the Challenger and OPL? So I think Challenger and OPL, we're sitting somewhere around 22, 23 teams at the moment. Did you think after the Smite World Championship that may have gone up, and after PAX, have you expected more players to play? I bloody have.
Yeah, I think there's a few unknown players maybe coming into teams, which is good to see. And I think overall the skill levels increased, and the teams. I think teams are finally settled and are starting to finally form stronger rosters. And despite like Panda's looking dominant, I think there's still a lot of potential for any team to take the top spot.
All right. So one more question, and then we'll head off in case any of the viewers have questions. Would you come back to the Smite Show
Sure.
with better internet next time? You too, Husey. So we'll throw it to you guys. We're only got about 5 minutes because we've had enough for Smite for one weekend, of course. Though we do have Challenger stuff tomorrow on this channel, I think. Now that I've said that, I'm not as confident. Though I'm pretty sure we do have some Challenger.
I think Nightfall's got something planned.
Does he? It would be the first.
If there's no Challenger stuff, hashtag blame Nightfall. But I think he's got it covered.
He's got it covered. So any questions here from the Twitch chat? You got 30 seconds from now to start typing.
Nightfall says that there is Challenger stuff tomorrow.
Can confirm.
And then all the Challengers players pop up.
And we're still in discussion about whether we broadcast any Invidious games because they are very long. And also they apparently involve a lot of backdooring. We saw a lot of that on Twitter. We've got some questions coming through now. So then,
Where?
in the Twitch chat, look.
I can't see any.
Look, Okay, your best mate Prenzel saying, Cyanide, thank you for all your investment into the scene. How do you actually feel about Smite as a game? Do you like it?
I like the concept of Smite. I think, I've played League of Legends. I haven't played it for about 6-7 months because the game pissed me off. But before then, I played it since like 2011, 2012 maybe. It was before Season 1. I like the third-person concept with Smite. I like doing things non-game related. I like dealing with the admins. I like streaming. To me, that's the Smite game I play. I don't play in-game against Anubis bots all the time because it's too frustrating. I like streaming. I like that side of it, and that's where I get off. So it doesn't really matter if that's Smite or something else. What makes me enjoy the game more is the constructive conversations we have behind the scenes with the admins and everything else. The game is, whatever. That's the way I look at it. But I still got my season ticket, so I can get all the good stuff. And then when I've got an account full of good stuff, I'll sell it to you. Just don't tell high-res.
This is, I think, a good question from iDevice. Who is going to LAN? So me personally, Pandemonium, I think, is definitely going. And then I think the second spot will either be Tainted Minds or Avant-Garde. At this point, leaning towards Tainted Minds.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
That's how I like
now.
to pronounce his name.
It is now.
Okay.
All
I
right.
thought it was iDevice, but
No,
whatever.
it's two I's. It's not DEV, it's DIV. It's Device.
Fair enough. I guess I'm wrong.
So we got a question here. Maybe this one's for you, Biggie. We've got a question here about Loki and split pushing. How do you counteract a Loki split push?
I mean, if you as a team can't play around split pushing, then I think you need to put some effort into learning. That is
There
all.
we go. That's how you counter.
That is all. It's very simple.
It doesn't matter if it's a Polo
There's a
or
reason
Loki.
isn't picked in SPL.
Yeah, you invade
So,
Loki and kill him.
Here's a question for. We'll throw this one to you, Jyles. With the new changes that High Res is taking with the game relics items, do you think the game will continue to? Do you think the game will come to a core meta? To better phrase the question, how do you think High Res will be messing with the game until it reaches its final form? Before you answer that, I'll answer it. They won't. That's it in a nutshell. You gotta. My opinion is, games with microtransactions will forever go through changes. All right, they will. There's no set. This is the final product. It'll always be changed until version 2 comes out, or until the bugs just completely override the client itself and you can't play it. They're never going to stop that. That's my point of view on that. Jyles, sorry?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if it's a free-to-play model, they've got to keep updating it, or else people will run out of stuff to buy and they'll stop playing because there's nothing new. It's, yeah, if they just stopped updating it and they just said, this is it, it's all the gods you get to play, all the skins you get, all the items you get, it's all the same from now on. It's like, I'll play this for a week and then move on to a different free-to-play game. It's sort of like, yeah, the changing of meta is what keeps you having to grind the game and keep playing it.
All right, we'll do 3 more questions. And just as you can choose those, one of those questions. We can all choose one each, 3 more. But before you go and have a look at that, I wanted to ask you guys, because something I completely forgot about. Who else is excited about the 4 bands? Like, for me, that's amazing. I think that's brilliant.
That was a big change. I think it needed to happen. And I've heard a lot of people in the League of Legends community saying that they need 4 bands as well. I think it's a smart move on Hi-Rez's part, especially with the way that they release gods. A lot of gods get released and are amazingly OP. Like, Raijin is allowed a competitive change, and he's had no changes to his kit, and he just does so much damage. It's insane. And Skadi now with her bloody dog, like, holy crap. Like, they keep releasing so many gods that are so strong that I think an increase in the number of bans you get was inevitable, and I'm glad that they did it so soon.
Well, LoL doesn't. LoL are still fucked. They still have 3 bans, which is 130 champs, 3 bans. I can't grasp that. Dota's pretty good. They've got who knows and who cares, but they have 5 bans. I like that because you take out the most OP gods. So there's always, at the moment, we're seeing a lot of, so I can't pronounce this crap, but is it Kyron? All right, he's often banned.
Yeah.
Thor a bit at the moment banned. I think a lot of bans is a case of let's remove the OP ones, and it doesn't. Then after that, you're kind of restricted to use strategic bans. So more bans, the better, But in saying that, I honestly feel as well, and maybe Jyles, you might know the stats on this a bit better. It's not like we're using 15 different gods. There's always such a huge pool of gods in which we use, and we have that diversity too.
Yeah, especially at the moment where the game's pretty balanced. There's some really good picks that are strong for team fights, but there's heaps of them, especially in like Hunter and mid and solo. Even in support, you've got a pretty big range. So yeah, the game's pretty balanced, and it's good to have that extra ban to get something that you don't want to play against out.
All right, Husey, any more questions?
Yeah, there was a good one, which I think is something we didn't really touch on, but I think it's still relevant. Shruix asks, which Challenger Cup teams do you think have the best chance of getting into the OPL? I think we've even seen just through 2 weeks of play, the clear favorite is Llamas and Pajamas. They've been, I don't think they've lost a game yet, and that's pretty impressive coming out of a Challengers Cup team. They even in the qualifying tournaments they were formed in last week, similar to current Trident and Gazelle and Gafar. I think if the brackets had been a little bit different, they might have got in. Despite my earlier comments about seeding, I still think sometimes it can play a part, but not often. I still think that though that the OPL teams as they stand, unless there's drastic changes, I still think that they're better than all the Challengers Cup teams. But I think if any team has got a chance, it'll be Llamas.
Well, just quickly...
Is next split going to be 8 or 6 teams?
Next split?
Probably 6.
Yeah.
Probably 6.
At this stage, the plan is 6. That's what we've got planned out for relegations, and so something would have to change from high-res / double jumps end to change that. The current information we've got is 6 teams.
I like 6 teams, but I think I would like 6 teams to play each other twice, so it's over a longer spread. But 6 teams.
It might, yeah. If it was, it'd be extended, I think, because this split's gone by so quickly.
And 4 weeks.
Yeah, but this one's rush. But ignore that. It would. If you had 6 teams, they played each other once. It would only be over 5 weeks, and then finals. So, if you played it twice, that's 10 weeks. You're still getting a season in. Because I don't want this downtime. Last year we had so much downtime where no one played Smite in between. There was nothing in between packs, and now, was there? We had the end of season 2 stuff, but no one's playing. And I think we need to keep the momentum going. So I'd like to see 6 teams, but maybe over 10 weeks. And then finals, that's 3-month block. That's me. Yep.
In chat, there we go from Berserk, who runs Smite in OCE. I'm not changing it from 6 and Split 2, so there you go. Confirmed 6 teams in Split 2. And I'm going to be a bit controversial here, but apparently that's what the show's all about. I think 6 teams is plenty at the moment. I think if you put in another 2 teams, I think the only game that they would win would be against each other. I think it's harsh, but I think it's true. I think the skill gap is there a little bit. And I think 6 is a good number. You can maybe do 7, but that's just an odd number to have in a schedule. I think 6 is a nice number for now.
I always look at it
as
how many teams are going to be at the second split LAN then? Because you can't have another 2-team LAN. That's just
14.
I think 14 teams at LAN.
Take all the challenger teams.
I mean, yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything about Split 2 LAN.
I like 8 because I think I'm just not a fan of 2-team LANs. It's the same situation as like when we went to Worlds after we won packs. There was no one to scrim against really because I mean we scrimmed Jyles, but they were like they didn't really take it seriously. So we had to scrim like teams that were a lot weaker than us, and so we underperformed at times. And it wasn't like the greatest preparation because no one else was motivated. I feel like if you keep running 2-team LANs with a 6-team pro league, you're going to get to LAN and then those teams can't scrim each other because they're playing against each other. Yeah. But then no other team's going to be motivated to scrim.
I think they will be motivated though because they have their relegations tournaments coming up to try and fight to stay in the pro league. So why wouldn't you want to practice for that? Because relegation tournament is after the LAN, so those teams are still going to want to scrim.
But like, it depends on the dates because if it's like immediately after, then yeah. But if there's like a break, then I know most teams, especially used to just
for Split 1, it's immediately after. Relegation's a week after the LAN. That's my answer for Split 1. Split 2 moving forward, I don't have details on the LAN at this time, so I can't comment.
I think we got time for one more question, do we?
Sure.
Is there a confirmed date for Split 1 finals?
Is that a serious question?
If you're talking about I don't know. Like, I think we have every single date out there. Let me head on over to Cybergamer and drop this link in chat just in case, because it seems like 75% of the community hasn't seen this despite it being advertised everywhere. You click on that link I've just put in chat. There's a schedule there with a date for everything in Split 1. So if you talk about the Challengers Cup finals, which is essentially the last week of Challengers Cup, that is the 10th of April. If you talk about the LAN finals for the OPL, that is the 16th and 17th of April at the CGPL LAN in Sydney, Australia. If you're talking about the relegations at the end of Split 1, it is the 23rd and 24th of April. That will be an online tournament. So there you go.
No one likes to show off. I'm glad it's not the 12th again
It's-
like it was the other day when someone was asking about
Yeah.
the finals. You moved it back a week on us, Hughesy. Yeah, but all that information's been
Yeah, it's been there over a month, I think.
It has-
That's actually one of the things that frustrates me about the community. If we go back all the way back to Lash Out, one thing that frustrates me about the community is no one ever reads anything we put out.
Let's go back to Lash Out. No, let's not. So I think that's. I don't think. I don't think there's.
You mean like the rules, Husey?
Yeah,
I read the rules.
yeah. So, I mean,
I don't
he's
read
right
the
here.
rules. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't read them. But I don't play. I don't need to. I don't need to
respect
read
that.
them. So was there Was there any other worthwhile questions? That one to me. The information is not hidden.
Yes, actually, there is a good one here from Prensel. Do we have to buy a ticket for the LAN? Cyanide?
I'll give you a 1,500 gold head start if you do. No, don't. It's all free. You just pop down to Australian Technology Park. 8, 9 o'clock Saturday morning on the 16th. No, Smite's on the Sunday, so on the 17th. But you can come down on the 16th if you want. There will be.
I'll be there.
Well, there'll be 18 plus Black Ops 3, and there'll be some CS:GO. So there's all that stuff, but it's 100% free. Just walk in and off.
If you're wondering about transport to it, you go to Redfern Station. You get off on the left-hand side, and it's right there. It's legitimately, you walk out of the station. They have a platform that goes straight to Australian Technology Park. It's super easy to get to.
I'll put out a thread regarding visitor information soon. Within the next week, that will probably be out. Yep, and I think that is it. Was it, Hughesy? You're reading chat.
But that's all I can see.
All right, then. So I have to thank Jyles for joining us. Thank you for finally turning up to one of these podcasts. I know you were invited many times last year. Always had something better to do. Thank you very much for your time, Biggy. It was a pleasure. And Hughesy, not so much, but, we needed the extra number. What can I say? Then we need someone to fill in talking time, and we know you never have a problem with that. So, just to recap, tomorrow night we got some Challenger Cup stuff. Saturday and Sunday is the big Super Week. We've got 6 games over 2 days. Monday, maybe. Don't hold me to this. Like I said, Xbox guys like to play for days, not just hours. But we should be bringing the Xbox One Grand Final to you guys live. And that is a best of 5 between Example and Citadel 5. And then in a week's time, next Tuesday, we'll be back here. I don't think we'll be back here 7:30. I don't think we will be. I think we might move it a little bit later in the afternoon as numbers have picked up. And when we do giveaways and stuff, we want everyone to be involved with that. So we'll be back next Tuesday, 8:30ish, something along those lines. Keep an eye on Twitter. Make sure you go to @CGSmite. Give them a follow. We've got Jyles at Jyles or Die, Hughesy at Mr. Hughesy, not just Hughesy. And then Biggy is... What's your Twitter?
Biggy Smite.
Biggy Smite, of course.
Shout outs to Smite.
Yeah, it's taken me a year to remember these guys' Twitters. So that's it from us, guys. We really appreciate everyone tuning in. We will be back next week. Thank you very much, and see you later.